Hey folks, Bo Canootin, Bobby Joe Thorazine coming at you again. It's been a while, but I'm back. And I'm here today to talk about the economy. We are having severe economic problems in the United States these days, but I'm here to tell you that I have a very simple solution which could correct these problems in no time. And that is by instituting what I call a bullshit tax. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, Bobby Joe, we got all kinds of taxes in this country that are bullshit. That's not quite what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the tax itself being bullshit. I'm talking about taxing bullshit. Anytime a person or persons engage in something incredibly asinine or pointless, we slap a bullshit tax on them. Considering how much bullshit goes on in this country on a daily basis, I figure we can be out of debt and on our way to recovery in 6 months to a year. Now let me give you some examples. Now these are just examples, but they should give you an idea of how we can take a bunch of stupid problems in this country and turn them to our advantage. For example, when somebody pulls halfway out into the intersection and then stops, there should be a bullshit tax on that. Not using your turn signal. What, you can't be bothered to flip a switch? There should be a bullshit tax on that. Tailgating. Now, you get up behind my house, I'm liable not only to tap the brake, I may just slam them on. Go around, for crying out loud. Otherwise, you should get hit with a bullshit tax. For that matter, if you're in the far left lane and you are creeping along while everybody else is going, what the hell is this guy doing? You should get hit with a bullshit tax. Move over into the right and let people pass. Faking an injury after a minor car wreck just to get the insurance settlement. Well, there should be a major bullshit tax on that. If you're at work and you should be productive, but instead you're playing internet poker or blogging about your hangover, there should be a bullshit tax attached to that. If you're bagging groceries and you put the milk in with the bread, maybe even with a pack of light bulbs, there should be a bullshit tax. If you're trying to help a customer or a client and you try and upsell them unnecessarily just so you can afford something frivolous like a hot tub or a sports car, well, I'm afraid there should probably be a bullshit tax on that too. Hell, if you won't even go get a damn job because you feel that the only ones available are beneath you, yeah, there should be a bullshit tax on that. Maybe if you owe some money up front like that, you might get a little more motivated. It also works when you're a customer as well. Blaming the kid behind the counter for store policies or trying to get him fired for doing his job, yeah, there should be a bullshit tax on it. Screaming things like, I'll never shop here again. Well, guess what? That kid behind the counter is thinking, thank God. But wouldn't hurt to tack a bullshit tax on it. That old lady who's at the front of the line writing a check, taking 20 minutes to do so. Come on, Grandma, get a debit card. It doesn't take much. You can just put your pen in there and you're done. And I don't want to hear this arguing about, oh, I don't trust those things. What if somebody gets a hold of it? Well, I got news for you. Anybody can write on your checks. Bullshit. Trying to return shit to a store without a receipt. Well, what the hell do you think? Of course they're going to give you a hard time about it. For all they know, you jacked the stuff and you're trying to bring it back to make a profit. Yeah, you got to have a receipt to return something, and if you're going to throw a fit over it, there should be a bullshit tax. When you go into a restaurant, sit down and eat, and you can't tip at least 15 or 20%, well, you ask anyway, there's going to be a bullshit tax on that. Hell, it's just dumb anyway. You should never get on the bad side of anybody who cuts your hair, fixes your car, or handles your food. You're bitching because a store is too busy and you have to wait in line. Well, you know what? If you don't like it, go to a little local independent retailer. I'm sure they'll have plenty of time for you. Otherwise, shut the hell up or you get a bullshit tax. Stupid laws like suing a restaurant because the coffee's too hot. Well, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? It's not just individuals either. Companies should be paying up. Movie theaters charging $32 for medium popcorn, a chocolate bar, and a soft drink. Well, that's just bullshit. When companies cut labor first because business is on the downslide or they won't give their employees full time to avoid insurance, well, guess what? If people aren't making money or they have to spend too much money on things like insurance, then they're not going to spend money on the stuff you've got, and you're not going to get any of their money. Bullshit. Outsourcing. Hell, China should just forgive all the billions of dollars we owe them because we send them so much work. land stripping, building a super megalo dumbass mart every 5 miles, only to leave it vacant a few years later so that everything that built up around it suddenly collapses. Repeatedly sending out junk mail, especially things like insurance and credit card offers, to the same people every week. There should be a bullshit tax on that. There's all kinds of political and religious reasons for a bullshit tax too. Not voting and then complaining about the government. Yeah, bullshit tax. Voting for Sarah Palin for anything, for any reason, any time. Well, I think some of y'all know my feelings about that. Cutting funding toward education while building a new dome stadium or shopping complex. Come on, people, that's ignorant. You can't cut money for education, then you just raise a bunch of morons. You put the money in education. It might take a generation, but after that we might raise some children who are smart enough to solve all of our problems for us. Cutting education equals bullshit tax. Being a member of any religion which has suffered persecution while insisting that your religion is the only correct one, all non-believers are going to hell or deserve to die, well, that's bullshit. Proclaiming that homosexuality is a choice and an abomination. Come on, people, this is just stupid. You think these folks just wake up one day, there's a guy going, hey, you know what I think I'm going to do? I want to get naked and sweaty with another man. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Come on, people, bullshit tax. If you don't understand it and you go shooting your mouth off about it, bullshit tax. Planting viruses on websites you don't agree with or approve of. Bullshit tax. The fact that marijuana is illegal, something that grows up out of the ground. The fact that prostitution is illegal. You can give it away, but you can't charge for it. The fact that you can die for your country in a war at 18 years old, but you can't buy a cocktail. Building gated communities and then complaining about the ghettos. Failing to seek alternative fuel sources in light of oil spills and extremely high gas prices. What, you can't charge me for an electric car? Hell, I pay a power bill every month. Now, these are just some of the things we can apply bullshit tax to. I'm sure all of y'all out there can think of plenty of things, tons of common problems and behavior that we can tax to improve the economy, prevent problems, and teach people to be careful and reasonable in general. We can stack them all up, have a special election on them, and in no time, many of our day-to-day problems can be solved. I'm Bobby Joe Thorazine. Y'all be good, be smart, and don't let the idiots win.